Alex Salmond is to stop the SNP from forming a majority government, and the main question is, what's the next move for Nicola Sturgeon? Well, it's coming up. The elections in Scotland are coming up, and Alex Salmond's new party are going to cause trouble for Nicola Sturgeon, despite his promises that he's not going to divide the votes. But it's happening. So the latest we have is that, according to the opinion polls and the way people are planning to vote in the upcoming elections in Scotland, thanks to Alex Salmond's new Alba party, the SNP could lose their majority. At this point, considering the Green Party, who are also really, really left-wing, let's just say, are doing quite well in the polls, they could help the SNP by forming some sort of pro-independence coalition. But this is not really the issue, and we're going to talk about why this is more important than the unionists feel, because a lot of unionists think that, well, it's the same thing. The Alba Party, the SNP, they're all, even if they just form a coalition, it's going to be fine for them, and it's bad for the UK. But no, and I'm going to tell you why. The issue that we have here is that, as you can see in the Mail, they reported that according to the latest polls, I know what we think about opinion polls, but generally speaking, they show the trend. Commerce especially have predicted that the SNP will only return 64 members of the Scottish Parliament, one short of the 65 that they need to form a majority government. And Alex Salmond is the reason that they're going to fail, but his party are not going to gain any new seats. It reminds me of what the UKIP used to do to the Tory party in the past, but now it's happening with Alex Salmond's new party and Nicola Sturgeon. So Scottish Greens are expected to win 10 seats, and they could form a pro-independence coalition. The problem is that they shouldn't be too excited about this, because firstly, the polls that you can see that Alba not going to gain any seats. The Lib Dems will be on 7. The Tories still not fully trusted, and we're going to talk about the Tories as well, because the framing of the Scottish politics, the way it's been obviously created by the pro-independence side, is that, well, all we care about is independence. But that's not really the case when it comes to the Scottish Nationalist Party, because in terms of the leadership, you can see in the polls that Nicola Sturgeon is still more popular, and that makes sense, because you have at least half of Scotland who are pro-independence, and the SNP are still the main party for that, and Nicola Sturgeon is the incumbent. Despite being incompetent, she is the incumbent, so she is recognised. But Douglas Ross, minus 31. Not many people know who he is, and he can't be trusted because he's a Tory. And obviously, you have Anna Sarwar, who's the new Labour leader, doing quite well actually. 10 points, plus 10, so that's good. Alex Salmond is the most unpopular amongst all these candidates, but he's good enough just to cause some trouble with the SNP voters, the Salmond loyalists who are abandoning the SNP. He's not going to get enough support to win anything, but he's going to get enough to destroy the SNP's coalition government. Now, Alex Salmond is unpopular for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's Alex Salmond. Everything he believes, everything he's said in the past, and everything he recently said about Putin and Russia. And he was talking about what happened in Salisbury and refused to blame Russia. And he's been doing things like this a lot. And I know that a lot of people who are sympathizers of Putin and his government, but that's just not right, and that's not going to go down well. So there are a lot of people in Scotland, Scottish voters, who are not going to take this. And I have no idea if this is some sort of weird tactic, or does he want to lose on purpose. The issue that the other side have is with the Tories. So Boris Johnson apparently is not going to visit Scotland during the elections. And, that he's now being accused of being scared of facing Scottish voters. Rightly so. I don't understand this, because you might say, as a political party, you have to be tactical. And they know that Boris may not be popular in Scotland. But that's not really the case, is it? Because even when you had Ruth Davidson, who was really popular, David Cameron still went up there. If it was about tactic, then David Cameron should have stayed away all the time and just let Ruth Davidson run the show. But if you are, you're not just party leader, you're prime minister, you have to be brave enough to show yourself and show your face. It's the same issue that Boris Johnson had when he ran away from being interviewed by Andrew Neil. So tactically, you might say, oh, it's a good idea. It's better than actually being destroyed by Andrew Neil. But it doesn't really show you as a brave, strong leader. So this is not going to go down well with a lot of Scottish voters who were considering to vote for the Conservative Party up there. So this is not good. But in terms of the SNP, the reason I say this is not good news for Nicola Sturgeon is because their only passion is not just short-term to have independence. The priority for the SNP as a party is long-term. They want to control Scotland. They want to have a big government, just control every aspect and control people's lives. We know that. That's just their ideology. In order to get to that long-term plan, the medium-term plan is to have independence. Now, short-term is, whilst they have the devolved powers, the devolved administration, short-term plan is to be, again, control Scotland by taking over the current Scottish government, the current structure. So considering that the short-term plan is not going to be ruined by Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon is not going to get a majority potentially, it's still going to damage the SNP's agenda, because short-term they need to get a majority to be credible enough to even push for the medium-term plan, which is another Scottish independence referendum. So it's not looking good for neither, obviously, Alex Salmond nor Nicola Sturgeon. And the problem is the Scottish Greens are becoming popular. So this is bad news for everyone, unfortunately. So if you are watching from Scotland and if you are sensible, then if you believe in Britain, vote for a party that's actually a unionist party. Thanks again for watching. Tonight we're not going to have a live stream at 8 p.m, so I will see you guys tomorrow with a new video.